Hey everybody, welcome back to the Systems and Workflow Magic podcast and YouTube channel. I am your host, Dolly DeLong. I'm so excited to be interviewing my friend, Brittany Herzberg. I am going to do a little introduction for her, and we are going to be basically talking about how to build an SEO system for solo family photographers. So if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, Brittany, SEO is important, yes, but how do I actually incorporate it into my family photography business as a solo family photographer? I can't afford an agency. So Brittany is going to be answering these very basic questions for you and more. But before we begin, Brittany Herzberg is an SEO strategist, coach, and the host of the Basic Bee podcast, which I will link in the show notes of this YouTube channel and the podcast and the corresponding blog. She went from being a massage therapist who could barely make rent in Vermont to accidentally discovering that SEO was a reason two clients found her online that same month. That light bulb moment turned into the SEO and Grow method, a three-phase approach to how she teaches established entrepreneurs so that they can stop chasing clients on social media and start getting found on Google. She's also a bird watcher who reads about 45 books a year. So yes, she is exactly as cool as she sounds and even more. So welcome to the Systems of Workflow Magic podcast, Brittany. I'm so glad to have you on again.
Thank you. I'm excited to be back. I love talking with you.
I love talking with you too. And you all, before we had, this was supposed to start 45 minutes ago, but we have been gabbing and yapping, which is a good sign in my mind. Like, Brittany's very approachable and very fun to talk to. And yeah, I just have been loving getting to know her even more.
Oh, thank you. Ditto.
Well, thank you. Okay, so like I shared before, we're going to be talking about how to build an SEO system and how to maintain it as a solo family photographer, because Brittany, as you know, who I serve other family photographers. I teach them about systems, workflows, and SOPs, specifically how to maintain their marketing and promote themselves. And one of the ways they can market themselves is by having a good SEO foundation. And I know that family photographers especially tend to overcomplicate SEO, which you know that. Them working with me, I have overcomplicated SEO in the past. And so I just wanted to bring you on so that we can start encouraging listeners and viewers about why SEO matters and how to create a system for themselves as a solo business owners. But okay, so first question is, Brittany, my listeners know SEO matters because especially my listeners who are members of the Family Photographers Marketing Society, which, side note, Brittany comes in every single month in the membership and she teaches foundational SEO skills to those family photographer members. So like, here is a plugin for if you are wanting to find a system for your marketing to market yourself consistently. I send out a template every single week to the members of the Family Photographers Marketing Society. And Brittany comes in once a month and she teaches a bomb.com of SEO strategy session. And we've had family photographers experience wins on the call, like who show up and then who actually take action, and then on the spot, they are experiencing SEO wins. So I know that for my members, they've been learning SEO every month, but knowing and then actually doing things are two very different things. So why do you think so many family photographers or creatives in general get stuck between, I understand SEO and I actually do SEO consistently? Like, where's the disconnect?
Yeah, I think it's at least two parts to it, probably even more than that. The two parts being, I know what to do, but I'm scared I'm going to mess it up anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm not super confident with the decisions that I'm making, which is why it can be so helpful to have someone like me or another SEO expert. Like, I love that you bring me in and you have this dedicated day every month in the membership, because they're able to bring their questions. They're able to just get that like extra boost of confidence that, yes, you're doing this right. No, this isn't going to blow things up. It's going to be like perfectly fine. And then I think there's still that thought, just because we've heard it for so many years and it's just so pervasive, that social media is the way to market your business. And it's a great way to market your business, especially with a visual mediums such as photography. And there are other ways because you want to be a whole human. Maybe you have a family, maybe you have just like pets you want to hang out with or friends, and you just want to be like a person outside of work. And then your work also does take a lot of time and effort and energy on your part. So it's nice when you have something working on the back end for you, but I really do think it's those two things.
Yeah. I'm like nodding along and I'm snapping and I'm like clapping. I'm like, yes, it's definitely those two things. So in your opinion, Brittany, because like I know this is kind of a loaded question, but what does a simple, realistic SEO routine, how can it look like for a family photographer who has maybe 2 to 3 hours a week in marketing? How can they infuse SEO practices into their marketing routine? Because I look at marketing as also including SEO best practices. And I know other people, when they think of marketing, they think of marketing themselves on social media, like you were sharing, and maybe sending out an email and maybe like doing a blog post. But I also include SEO in that ecosystem. So, like, how can they simplify it? How can you like simplify it for my listeners and viewers to
Yeah.
include that?
Yeah. And I think you already live this, so you can probably like testify to this if you want. But I would even zoom out a little bit more because I think that if we look at it on a monthly basis, 1 to 4, maybe like 5 or 6 hours total for the month, you can cover your SEO. And even if you don't have, like, if you're closer to the 1 to 2 hours for the month, that's fine. You can take what you're already doing and make use of the opportunities that are available to you that you may or may not know of. So even from like one of the things we were just talking about on the most recent membership call in your group, we were talking about naming your images and optimizing your images. So you're already doing that. Just take a couple extra steps to title them properly, to size them properly, to actually highlight them and you in the best light possible so that you really do call in those aligned clients and they have a good experience with you before they even like fill out your inquiry form or speak with you or meet with you to have pictures taken. I think there are just like so many little opportunities like that that people do or do not know of and could take advantage of where it wouldn't eat up like a whole bunch of their time each week. So that could look like on a monthly basis, creating content, 1 to 4 pieces of content. So you could be doing one a month, you could be doing one a week. And of course, when I say content, I'm usually talking about blogs, but SEO applies to podcast episodes. SEO, like I just mentioned, can apply to images and things like that maybe you are sharing on social media or
Mhm.
in any kind of publication that you might be getting featured in or something like that. So content is one focus. Finding and fixing any errors like broken links, which you talked about recently in an email that you were sharing. That's like, it can be a heavy task, but you can break it up into like different days of the week, different days of the month. It doesn't have to be done all at once. And then another thing is just looking at your stats, getting familiar with them. And that's a once a month, could be like 15 to 30 minutes type of project where you're going in something like Google Analytics or Google Search Console, looking at traffic. Where are people actually finding you online? Is it social media? Is it Google? Is it something else? Is it maybe a podcast episode or something? Where are they finding you? What pages are they going to? What keywords are you getting found for? It's like all of these little nuggets add up to help point you in the right direction and make the most of all of your resources, time, money, energy.
I love that. And Brittany, I know you have a great resource, free resource on how to do keyword research, correct?
It's part
Did
of
I?
it. Yeah. It's
Okay.
built into the,
Okay. What is it called? And I will link it in the show notes of this episode.
yeah, I've been calling it my SEO basics checklist, but I
Okay.
was reviewing that and I was like, this is so much more than a checklist. So now I'm calling it the SEO playbook because it comes with a video tutorial. It comes
Yes.
with a Google workbook. It comes with follow-up emails. So yeah, I'll share the link with you and we'll make sure everybody has that.
Please do, because I know listeners and viewers like this question. I said, like, I was joking around with Brittany earlier. It's like loaded because one of the layers is you do, as a viewer, as a watcher, if you decide to put this into practice, you do need to know those keywords that your ideal client are using to search for you the answer. And so I just thought that Brittany's free resource, the playbook, would help you out tremendously. So I will be sure to link that below because that is like another episode of itself.
Yeah.
And so I know like viewers, listeners, you all know I'm very long winded. So I didn't want to make this into like a 3 hour podcast interview. And so I will be sure to put that in. So You had hinted at blogging as a long form content and also podcasting. And so I will share this. I know primarily photographers, especially family photographers, we tend to blog because we can share those visuals, those images as kind of like social proof of what our work looks like, where we've shot, who we've worked with, all that stuff. So if a photographer sat down today to plan their blog content for like let's say for the rest of the year, or even make it very easy for the rest of the quarter, how would you walk them through that? Like, what is the simplest way to map it out? Because I know that family photographers, I know that they want to be found on Google. I know that they want to blog. I know that they want to understand SEO, but they tend to overcomplicate all of those starting points. So, what would be a really good way for them to start mapping out their next quarter's worth of blogs?
Yeah. And I do, before I get into that, I'll share this too. It's not just photographers. Every type of business owner, even myself, every type of business owner that I've worked with, coaches, photographers, doulas, anything, we all overcomplicate this because we do think that we're going to mess it up.
Yes.
We
I
really do.
think I will share this with viewers and listeners. I have gotten in my own way, even after teaching and workflows to other like family photographers. I'm like, it's so easy, guys, just do it. And then I get in my way and I'm like, what is the perfect keyword? What is that magical keyword I need? And I get so fixated on something so dumb, like, what is the magical keyword I need, that I just don't do the work. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah. And it's not that it's so dumb. It's that I think it's a sign that we care.
Yeah.
And we all really deeply care. So like honor that. That's good. Yay. And make it easier on yourself, because what I had noticed after being the one to spend like 3-4 hours on keyword research, because yes, I was that person. And that's why I tell people not to spend more than 30 minutes. Because what I was noticing is that the keywords I found at the beginning were very
We're
often
at
the
the
ones
top.
that I was coming
Yeah.
back to. So it's
Yeah.
like, save yourself like 3.5 hours of your life, go do something fun with those, just spend 30 minutes max on keyword research. And really, when you're working on it, something like a blog, which I'll answer the question, when you're working on something like a blog, it's so much easier to find the keyword because you have direction. When we're
Yes.
I'm just going to do keyword research, it's a little too open-ended for us. And I think that's also part of why we get in our heads about that. But for the blog posts, let's bring it back to that. With photographers, you all have this like perfect case study of a case study, because you are
Yeah.
sharing galleries often. You are sharing the story behind the session. You're sharing where you were at, like how this all came about, and then what the end result looks like, which is beautiful. And I think I've shared this with you and probably your members too, that I used to like stalk kind of a photographer's blog because I loved reading about that he was one for engagements and weddings and things like that. So it was really fun to read the stories and see the pictures and get ideas in my head about like where I wanted to get photographed and stuff like that. So it's really fun, and people are definitely paying attention and tuning in. You could start with just like some of those galleries that you know you want to share. And if you're thinking of this as your quarterly content plan, your quarterly blogs, you want to decide first, like, what's your goal for each month? So let's say you're going to do 2 blogs a month, because that feels doable for you, because they are picture heavy oftentimes. And that's a whole big process. So if you're going to do 2 a month, let's say you have one of them that's going to be a gallery at least. And then maybe the second blog will be something like, great outfits that you could wear, or different locations that you could choose for your session, something like that. So you want that to be like, it could be a resource for this quarter. So you could have like a resource blog post once in the month, and then your case study or portfolio blog post. And from there, with the keywords for the resource, you could just be thinking of like, what is the question that my clients are most often asking me? Because I'm sure that they're asking you questions about, how do I know like what outfit should I bring? Where are the different locations that you will do sessions at?
Yes.
All of those questions. So just like write all of those out and then slot that one question into that resource post. And then for the portfolio one or the gallery one, you could feature the type of client. So I know that you have a lot of family photographers, but also I know that you have family photographers who also are newborn photographers and maternity photographers and senior photographers. So whatever type of session, if it's a family photo session, if it's a newborn photo session, whatever that thing is, type of session, And maybe the location too could be part of the keywords that you're looking at. And those would be two separate things. But honestly, I've said this so much in my career with SEO. If you're just intentional with the words that you're using and what you want to get across to people, and you're making it very thoughtful with providing links, providing buttons, providing information, sharing the photos, if you're doing all of that, you could do this. You could quote unquote do SEO for your blogs without even doing keyword research.
Love that. That's so encouraging to hear. And I do want to do like two selfish plugins about like SEO. If you are watching this, if you're listening in and you're like, I really want a consistent blogging system for myself, I've created the blogging and visibility toolkit system for family photographers. So it takes you from idea all the way to SEOifying or strategically SEOifying your blog post and like how to market that blog post and how to create an ecosystem. It's my whole chatbot system that I've created, again, specifically for family photographers. And I know that Brittany has been, I don't know if you've been, I sent it to you, Brittany, for
I
the,
dove in. I dove in.
Really?
But yeah, it's amazing.
It's like, cause like, I know it takes, it's a lot to look at first, but then I break each lesson down. Like, this is how you use this bot. This is how you use this bot. But it's so encouraging to hear that you have been diving into that.
It's amazing. The thing that Dolly shared this with me for was because on our last call in the membership in the marketing society, Dolly mentioned alt text, that she has this bot that can help you with alt text. And I was like, I need to check this out because I have a client that I work with and there are hundreds of photos that we upload into different blog posts. So I was like, I have to check this out. What I will say, yes, there's a lot. It's a big library of resources. So someone could go in there and just, find the thing that they need that day in that moment. Like, it's not like you have to sit down and consume the entire thing. It's like, it's a library that's there for you and you need it.
Yeah, that's true. I like listeners, if you are wanting to create, like, again, a system of consistent blogging, because blogging really will build a better SEO foundation for your family photography business. I will die on that hill. Maybe that's a little dramatic, but I will firmly stand on that hill. And I want to make it even easier for you because I know time is limited with, especially if you are a caregiver and you have other hats you're wearing within your, not just business, but life. And so this will cut that time in half for you tremendously. I've tested it out. I've had other people test it out. It works. It's chef's kiss. But another plugin is for the Family Photographers Marketing Society. If you're like, I just need help developing a system for my marketing, and I also want to learn about SEO at the same time, then come in because Brittany is our SEO strategist for all of 2026. And so she comes in every single month and we have a library of SEO foundation course, like classes from her already. So those are my two plugins and because it will impact your blogging. So I know that was a lot. I was going to ask you, so going back to the blog posts. Okay, so most photographers, when they post a blog, they are only blogging about, or they're only sharing about their recent family sessions. And I'm glad that you helped categorize, like, hey, you can be answering questions in your blog post. You can do FAQs, and then you could also share kind of like a case study. I guess the question is, most photographer blog posts are just a photo gallery with a title like The Smith Family at Percy Warner Park. Okay. But what would you change about that to actually work for SEO? Because that, like that first scenario, that is what people do 90% of the time. I would say 99% of the time. It's just like a photo dump of all the images and look at this photo session, but how can they like be smart about that blog?
Yeah, you could. I mean, even just using that title, you could say something like the Smith family photo session at Percy Park in Nashville. Like that could be your H1 heading. And then there's something called an SEO title and a meta description. I'm imagining most of you have heard about this, but just in case you haven't, these are the two pieces of copy that show up on a Google search results page. So you have to fit those in a certain character count, and you want to be mindful about that for the title and the description. But the H1 you can definitely be longer with if you want to. So that's one thing. And then just having one H1, making sure that you have one H1, which I harp on and on and on about. So if you've been in my world, you've heard me say that like a bajillion times, but just one because it really helps the robots understand quickly what's happening in this blog post, what you're about, who you help, how you help people, and then get it in front of the right other people so that they can book a session with you. You want to be mindful about the other like H2s, H3 headings that you're using. You can insert when it feels appropriate, different keywords like the location, Percy Park. I'm imagining that's in Nashville. I'm just saying that like as I know
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
as if I know this. So Percy Park, comma Nashville. You could also say again, like the Smith family, like just adding photo session or something like that, where you have like family photo session, family photography session, just anywhere where you're like, I can be a little bit more specific here. That's going to help the bots again understand what's going on and who they need to get you in front of. Your URL slug is a huge opportunity for keywords. And when you create that slug, your website host like Squarespace, Showit, WordPress will give you something there, but you want to go back and just make sure that it's something that is actually helpful. Some of the keywords of what you're talking about in the post are there, that kind of thing, and that they have dashes in between them, which you also want to do with your image titles, writing that and having the dashes in there. So there's lots of opportunities, but those are just some of like the high level ones for sure that you could do.
I love that. That's all really good reminders. And I do want to harp on like my next question for you, and because I have like an annoyance too. And I was like, I want to hear what your annoyance is. But what is the number one SEO mistake you see photographers making that you wish they would stop doing today? Because I have like I have a whole lot. No,
I was going to say I have to pick one.
I have a list of it. No, I don't have a list, but there is this one SEO mistake. Ever since I learned about it years ago, I'm like, I can't unsee it. And now I'm like, guys, like we have to stop doing this.
Let's go with yours first because I have a bunch, but like let's go with yours so I make sure I don't repeat what yours is.
Yeah. So mine is I learned when I learned this, it just like totally changed the game for me. And it like it sounds so dramatic, but it really did change the game. I use WordPress as for my blog and Showit. Like they both work together. Okay, so when I blog on the back end of WordPress, they automatically had turned on when the publishing date is before the URL. And so I didn't like when I was blogging and I was like, okay, I'm doing the thing that everybody tells me to do. But then when I published it, it would be like dollydelongphotography.com / 11 07 2018 all the stuff, like the URL of the slug. And I was like, okay, I'm doing it. But then I learned you're supposed to take off the dates at the end of the URL because who is typing into Google 11 07 like, for example, like nobody is typing in that. They're typing in Nashville family photographer. Like, I did not put that together until somebody actually showed it to me. Like, you need to turn that off and just like have full control of the URL slug on the back end. And when I saw that, like that was like a light bulb instant moment for me. I was like, oh yeah, this is another opportunity for me to rank. And now I can't unsee it. And now I try to tell other photographers to do that and they still like keep the publishing date at the back end of their URL and it just drives me insane.
Yeah. I agree with you. And I tell the people the same thing. And also recently was working with a client and I was like, let's turn this off. But when I did a little bit more digging, you can also create some problems if you just go turn it off. And I was like, oh, okay. So because it impacts the previous blog post URL slugs. So if you're newer to blogging and you're hearing this, turn the date off, do some 301 redirects, which just tells Google, this was the old slug, this is the new one, just take them to the new one. And it's much more simple than what it sounds like, because even I was like, that sounds complicated, I'm avoiding that. And then once I learned what it was, I was like, this is stupid simple, I've got to do this.
Yes.
So I totally agree. And it's one of those things where it's like, possibly the people that are keeping it on, maybe they also had an SEO person like me who was like, it's not worth it to adjust it. But what I will say with the date, definitely turn it off where they can see the date on the blog post. So not the URL slug, but like if they're looking at your blog page or something like that and they can see the date, that's not important at all.
Yes.
And it actually helps you if that's off.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I learned about the 301 like redirect and I had to like go back and retroactively like update all those links. So that was a monster, but I finished it.
I'm proud of you. I mean,
Thank you.
It's a beast of a project. So yeah, I would say definitely that. And then I still run into so many photographers where the name of the photos is like, I don't know, even just recently. So I was at a retreat and we had some pictures taken. And even with that, it was like the name of the retreat dash 4532. And it's like, okay, cool, but that doesn't help me. And like, yes, of course, this would have taken her forever and a day to rename all of our photos because there was like 10 of us that she did pictures for. And it's really,
No, it
really
would have
helpful
taken her forever if she
if she had
used
the
my,
bot.
yeah, chatbot.
That's true. I need to be like, here's Sally's chatbot. That's true. No, I mean, you created a shortcut for people, and
Yes.
it can be if you're doing this. So this is like a plug for your chatbot, because if you're doing it on its own, yes, that could have been a whole heck of a lot of photos. That could have been like
Yes.
80, 90 photos. I don't even know.
Yeah.
And like you taking that extra step to retitle your images actually helps you and your business,
Yes.
because your clients are very unlikely to know about this or do anything about it. I'm like weird. I just happen to know about this. So I change it, but not everybody knows that. So taking even just a little bit of extra time, going and getting Sally's chatbot, like this will be so beneficial for you and your business and your clients if you can just change the name of the image, please. And
That's so
thank you.
I know. And if you are like me who discovered like this very thing that Brittany is sharing with us like years later, because I have hundreds of images on my website and through blog posts where it is incorrectly labeled like JPEG, like 870, like all those annoying characters that have nothing to do with the image. So what I have learned from Brittany is just moving forward with the best practice and then going backward and trying to update like one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Like, and not eating the whole, like swallowing the whole elephant in one setting.
I think
Although,
you said that on the call too.
yeah, I've heard that phrase and like, I'm like, I kind of like that phrase, but at the same time, I don't like it because I'm like, who would eat an elephant? I don't like that.
No, we're not friends with those
No,
people if that's
no. I'm
happening
like,
anywhere.
please don't do that. But the whole thing is like, don't overwhelm yourself and think, oh, you have to change everything overnight, because my personality is intense and I will work on everything at once, but you don't have time for that. You probably have 1 extra hour this week. So go in and update one thing. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing too with SEO, is that it is this ongoing project, which
Yes.
not everyone loves hearing, but sometimes people hear that and it removes some bricks from your shoulders. So hopefully,
Yes.
like that's the intention with me saying that, is like, it's okay. It's one thing at a time. And like you said, I'm always saying like, let's just move forward, and you can update the images for the blog post you're going to publish this month or next month.
Yeah. So how does this look like in maintenance mode then, Brittany?
That's where more of like what I was sharing at the beginning, where you're
Yeah.
taking one day a month, you're looking at what your data is sharing for traffic, for keywords, for pages, all that good stuff. You're creating content or going back and optimizing existing content. And then the same thing too with like finding and fixing errors. So some of those errors, because that can sound like just a big thing, that could be the broken links. That could be going and optimizing some of your image titles or adding alt text to them. That could be adding links to and from different pages, even though it's not really an error, but like that's an opportunity there. You could be doing like, a lot of times when we duplicate or create a new blog page or something like that, it'll duplicate the SEO title and often the meta description too. And we want that to be different. So even going and like optimizing some of those and just picking like 2 or 3 pages again for the month. It doesn't have to be anything that's like crushing your soul. And that's where SEO marketing gets to be, it's the complete opposite of social media marketing, where you've got like a handful of things that you can work on for the month. And your blog strategy could change from like this month to next month. You could do 4 this month and 2 next month, or 0 next month, and just go optimize some existing ones. And that's enough. Like it's totally fine.
Yeah, that's good. And then when you optimize those blog posts or create those blog posts, listeners, viewers, you can then, like, this is what I do. I don't create anything new. I just take from that blog post and I repurpose it into a reel or into a carousel. I like making carousels. So I take that and I create a carousel and it points back to the blog. And then I also create a new Google My Business update, and then it points back to the blog. So I'm not creating new pieces of content to create. I'm essentially just repurposing what I already have.
Yeah, which is the brilliance of your marketing workflow for sure, and of just starting with SEO or incorporating SEO somewhere, because it then links in and bleeds into other things too.
Okay, so let's talk about the other elephant in the room. I don't know why I keep on bringing up elephants. I love
I
elephants.
love it. We're amazing.
Okay, how has AI changed the way people search? And like what does that change anything about how a family photographer should be approaching SEO now? Because I feel like there is so much hype words like SEO, EO, AI search, and I'm like, essentially, like, I feel like SEO and GEO are the same thing. Like you're just optimizing your website. Like, why are we complicating this?
I think people are complicating it because they can make a play to, oh, I have this new strategy and you have to lean into this new strategy. So I think some of it, not all of it, I think some of it is slimy. And yes, SEO is still what it is. There is AEO, there is GEO, sure, but it's starting with SEO basics anyway. So the starting point is no different. You're still, the way I teach it is you're going to start with your website pages, like your main website pages, anything in the navigation menu, anything in the footer, optimize those pages. And of course, if you only start with a couple things, start with your SEO title and meta description for the page, just to give you a starting point. So starting there, then moving into content like blogs, highly recommend blogs. Even if you have, like Dolly has this podcast, she has this YouTube video, she can optimize those. She can still link back to the blog on her website related to this episode. We really want to be driving them back to your website, and we really want to make sure your website is in a good place and that that's sending out the right bat signal. But yeah, like what AI searches do, how they're a little bit different. The questions are phrased a little bit different. So that's why you're seeing a lot of people talking about having FAQ pages for your website, why they're suggesting phrasing headlines and stuff like that. And you don't really have to overthink it. Again, just going back to like, if you're following best practices, that is enough. And it's really funny to me that so many of us are like, but it has to be harder than what it actually is. I mean, I do this too. So like,
I do
I'm
it
raising
too.
my own
Me
hand.
too. Yeah.
But it's like, it can be easy. It can be simple. It can actually support you and not drain the ever living daylights out of you.
Yes.
So if it feels too easy with SEO, you're generally doing it right. I like to joke about that, but like really I've seen that where it's like, it seems like it might be this keyword. It is. Go ahead and go with that. It seems like I should title it this. It is. Go ahead and go with that. Like, so it's just making sure that your stuff is following best SEO practices, having a heading hierarchy, meaning the 1H1, H2s support the H1, H3s support whatever H2 it's under, because the bots crawl that very quickly and that helps them understand things, making sure your images are titled appropriately. Like all that good stuff is going to be what helps you show up in AI searches. And I know that, and I can say that because I've seen that happen with my clients. They're getting found in AI searches and people are actually then clicking over to their website. They're making sales from AI searches. They're getting inquiries, all of this good stuff. It's happening with Google searches and Bing and everything else, as well as Chat and Claude and Gemini and all the things.
Yeah. All right. You heard it here, folks. Just work on your SEO foundational practices and don't freak out about all of the different terms because it's just like it goes back to having good SEO foundation. So, everybody, let's just collectively take a deep breath in together. So, no, when I realized that, Brittany, like, because I even got caught, like, it was like last year, I got caught up with all the terms. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to learn all of these new things. And then I realized, actually, when I started digging into it, I was like, actually, it's pretty much just having good SEO foundations.
Yeah. And even I had the same thought where I was like, all this
Yeah.
stuff was coming out. And I was like, there's like a girl group of all of us who do SEO and it's like all
Yeah.
women. I love it.
Yeah.
And I went in there and I was like, I feel dumb, but like, is this just basic SEO? And they're all like, yes.
Man, don't give in to the fear mongering people. Just like continue to build out your best practices and build out a better system. And it can be easy. And so that leads me to one of the last questions. If someone listening has done zero SEO work, what is one thing they should do this week to get started and to start that system for themselves?
Okay, so the thing I'm going to tell you is going to be very surprising. Dolly has heard this, so it won't be surprising for her, but for everybody else, I don't actually want you to do anything other than answer these 3 questions. So set a timer for 15 minutes, answer like as basic of an answer as you can. Usually it's like 1 to 2 sentences, maybe, and even just a few words. The questions are, who do you help? So we're really getting at like, who are the groups of people that you're helping? Again, if we're thinking of this in terms of photography, families, newborns, moms, whatever that looks like, any answer is appropriate. Just like write down the groups. The second question is, how do you help them? this one's kind of easy because it's with photography sessions. So write that down, but then get specific with what type of photography session.
Mhm.
Newborn photography session, things in your area. So like list your city and state or wherever it is that you want to travel to and book more projects, write that down. Anything else in there? The style of photography. And that could also kind of go into question number 3, but the style of photography could be part of that too. So Dolly and I went through this just a couple weeks ago. So like lifestyle photography, candid photography, portrait photography, studio photography, really sharing like the vision, the vibe of your photos, like sharing that because people are looking for it. And then the third one, I keep like changing how I phrase this, but right now what I'm saying is like, why you? What makes you different? What makes you the best photographer that they could work with? Is it because you love doing Fresh 48 sessions? Is it that you, I don't know, have this like certain story or certain thing that happened in your life, which is why you're so passionate about like family photo sessions in the summer or something like that? So just write that down. And it doesn't need to feel like I'm bragging. It's just like people choose you for a certain reason. It could be how
Yeah.
you make them feel. It could be what you're doing to prep them for the session, like whatever that looks like. So just add a few specifics in there. You definitely want to have your location though. So if you're not saying that in question number 2, say that in question number 3. But set a timer, 15 minutes, answer those, make it really clear because then you will be taking those answers to do keyword research.
You all, that was a good little, okay, you all, I hope you took lots of notes and you will rewatch this or re-listen this and take notes and genuinely take Brittany up on setting that timer because I actually did all of this homework with her for both sides of my business and it's helped out tremendously. So this is why I wanted Brittany on again so that she can help you all out. Okay, so Brittany, where can my listeners, my viewers find you, learn from you, work with you, and just get to know you more because you are genuinely a really good human.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Definitely on the podcast. And I'm for sure going to have you on. We've got that
Yep.
set up like in a few months. So come
Yes.
back. We'll make sure that we link it in here. The Basic Bee podcast. I'm forever on Instagram. I'm Brittany_Herzberg. And don't worry, I'll make sure Dolly has the link so you can just click it. On my website, BrittanyHerzberg.com. And then coming up very, very soon, I think from when this is released, I am going to be hosting my second 5-day SEO sprint. And yes, you actually can do this in 5 days. I'm literally, as we're recording this, doing day 5 with my current group. And it's going so well. These people are showing up. They have toddlers, multiple toddlers. They have side jobs. They have several of them are photographers. They have programs that they are writing sales pages for and prepping for launches or even actively launching. So you don't have to pause your life to do SEO. And that is one big thing that I wanted to showcase with this sprint. None of them have had to pause their lives. Some of them missed several days because life happened and that's just normal. And I'm still right there. They still have access to me. I'm still answering questions. I'm still getting some of them jump started. So yeah, check it out. I'll have the link for that below too.
And you all, if you are on the fence about learning SEO from a legit SEO strategist, get your wallet out and give it to Brittany. Okay. She is not paying me to say this. I genuinely mean it. I have worked with, worked and learned from so many different SEO educators. And something I love about Brittany is that you are very approachable and you make SEO very easy to understand. Because I overcomplicate everything because I think, oh, this has to be hard. I have to make this hard so that I can. It's just, she makes SEO easy, approachable. And I have invested my own money in working with her in the past, and I will continue to invest in her in the future. So you all think like I'm doing a presidential campaign for Brittany, but
I mean, thank you. I will call you if that ever happens.
yes. I highly recommend that you all check out Brittany, and I get nothing for this except I just want you all to know like this is a genuine glowing review about Brittany. And so please check her out for SEO services. And then if you're like, I also want to fuse family photography marketing with SEO, then jump in the Family Photographers Marketing Society. This is like the low cost barrier way to like learn from Brittany and learn from me too on a like almost a weekly basis. So that's it. You all, thank you so much for watching and listening all the way through. I really hope that you got some good takeaways. I mean, I know you will. Like, Brittany just like gave us a full fire hose of information. So I hope you all will take notes and continue to follow her, get to know her, listen to her podcast. But until then, have a streamlined and magical week, you amazing muggle you. And I will talk to you all next week with a brand new systems of workflow YouTube video and podcast episode. Bye.